if you don't work through it, it stays there forever. The thing that we're afraid of, being insecure about something, is the thing that you need to work through in order to get on the other side of the thing that you're afraid of. And I think uncertainty is the same exact thing.
I'm not freaking out when the gym's packed because I know that I'm going to be able to find even some small corner, some variation to do which workout. And so the more that you practice, the more that you train behind the scenes, the more you're going to be able to handle uncertainty on the big day. And that's just a fundamental truth.
Next Level Nation, welcome back to another episode of Next Level University, where we help you level up your life, your love, your health, and your wealth. We hope you enjoyed yesterday's episode number 1653, the top 3 lessons from Next Level Live 2024. Today, for episode number 1654, stop running from uncertainty. So the good thing is, whether or not you attended Next Level Live or not, if you did, you would not know that there was a massive Jeffing right before the event started.
Yeah.
It was a lot.
It was,
and the uncertainty was high.
There was uncertainty for sure.
So Alan and I woke up early at the Airbnb. I got up at 5 a.m. on the day of. I went downstairs. I went through the presentation once or twice. I packed up. I made sure my clothes were not super wrinkly. Went through the process. That's how I operate. I get up early. Alan got up, and we connected. I had already packed most of the stuff. All right, cool. We're good to go. We head on down to the venue. We're going to be like an hour and maybe a half early or something, which is hyper proactive for us. Awesome. Plenty of time. Nothing could possibly go wrong that would require an hour and a half worth of prep. Everything's going to be fine. We get to the venue.
Or so we thought.
It was snowing a little bit that day. Nothing bad. We got to the venue. No problem. No big deal. It was actually raining. Meet the person at the front desk. Super nice. We're in the room. Awesome. So we start setting up. All good. Let's set this up. Set the camera up. Mic's up. Awesome. Great. We get to the point where we're setting up the laptop that has the presentation on it. It's connected wirelessly to their projector, which is connected to the screen. Awesome. This is going to be great. This is awesome. Oh, it works. Cool. Video looks crisp. Nice. No audio, though. We can't hear the audio from the presentation over the speakers in the room. All right, well, let me go fiddle with the buttons here. The guy showed me what to do. We shouldn't have an issue.
Now, mind you, Kevin had spent hours the previous day putting together the audio within the presentation, so we didn't have to. You embedded the audio into the actual PowerPoint.
Yes. Which took many hours to do that. But the reason to do it was we thought it would be foolproof and it would work perfectly. So we try everything that we know how to do based on our limited knowledge of this AirPlay app that we're using with not an Apple computer, so it's not real AirPlay. And one of the people from the venue comes in and says, hey, anything I can help with? And I said, yeah, the sound is not working. And I have no idea what to do because based on the conversation I had, it should just seamlessly work. It doesn't give us an option to switch the sound. We've already gone in the advanced settings. I don't know what to do.
At what point did you know we were jeffed?
Right when that guy said, pretty much then.
And you knew?
Yeah. The guy was like, oh, okay. And then I was like, oh, no, you don't have the answers to my problems. We are in trouble. Right then, that was kind of when I realized we were in trouble, yeah. But they called the gentleman who is in charge of it, and he was eating breakfast at the time, and I was talking to him on the phone. And I said, we've tried everything. I don't know what to do. Can you help us? Can you come help us? Because he told me, if you guys need anything, I live 10 minutes away. I don't care. I'll come down. Awesome. So he gets down. He's fiddling with it. He can't figure it out. And it got to the point where he said, all right, I have a Bluetooth speaker in my truck. I can grab it and we can test it out. And we said, all right, cool. That gets working. And it was like 3 minutes before. It wasn't.
Open.
Yeah, 3 minutes before people were going to start arriving.
But we needed the music on.
We needed everything to be set up. Yeah. The whole time we were trying to set that up, we couldn't set other things.
And we were trying to set up the virtual as well simultaneously and get everyone ready.
But shout out to everybody, all of the NLU team that was there. They absolutely crushed it, and it was amazing. So that was a stress reliever for sure. But Alan and I were so uncertain of what was going to happen This whole time it was, is the guy going to get here soon enough? Are we going to have to push the event back? Are we just going to have to play it over the laptop speakers and it's going to be horrible?
My tiny little Zen book speakers.
Yeah. And the reason I wanted to do this episode was the uncertainty. I'll speak for myself, Alan. I'll let you speak for you. The uncertainty that I was facing that day and that moment was the most, I won't say ever of all time, but it was very, very high. I mean, that was like a level 8.5, 9 uncertainty. Freaking out, losing my mind. I don't know what to do. But that level of uncertainty a few years ago would have absolutely taken me off the rails, and it would have wrecked the entire day, and I probably would have had a panic attack. And although it was a very heavy weight and a large amount of uncertainty, it wasn't really that bad. Even in the telling of the story, I don't know if you can tell, but it wasn't, I don't know, it probably wasn't as bad as it should have been when we were going through it. I wasn't freaking out that much.
You're comparing to the past of how much you would have freaked out. And I remember, so Kevin and I have driven to 5. I used to be overly confident, overly optimistic about things going well. And the more pessimistic I've become, the more proactive I've become, the better things have gone.
Yeah.
Kev used to think everything was going to go horribly wrong, and he used to overly maybe freak out a little too much. And we've started to drive to 5, where now we're both freaking out the right amount. But the funny thing is, Kev, is when you say I probably should have been freaking out more, that's relative to what you used to do.
Well, it's also relative to the fact that we planned. For me, the fact that you and I were going to get there an hour and a half early was like such a W. Because in my mind, it was like, this never happens. We never get to the event as early as I want. Like, this is going to be totally fine. This should be the smoothest setup we've ever had. Everything else went super smooth, and the team was crushing it. So I knew, because you asked me before this, you said, how come you were freaking out, but it was almost like you disassociated from what was happening.
Yeah.
And I said, no, I just knew that nothing could happen until the guy got there. And I was just thinking to myself, when's this guy going to get here? I had firm belief when he got there, we'd figure out a solution. I just didn't know what the solution would be. But that's a weird level of certainty that I don't know if I've ever really had before.
Can we dig into that? What did that feel like?
It might not work out the way I want it to work out, but it's going to work out. Like, we'll figure something out. It might not be ideal, but it'll get done.
The way that you used to view me, and you thought that I was calm as a cucumber, for lack of better phrasing, overly lackadaisical, which is fair. I think also is this duality of life is uncertain. Uncertain things happen, unexpected things happen, but ultimately we're going to find a way to make it work. That everything is figure-outable confidence, I think you have it to such a drastic extent now, almost to where that comes with a weakness where you got to stay real humble and real proactive. I think you're going to be fine. I was over. I was definitely over. And in hindsight for me, I was freaking out more than you were.
It was weird for me because I kept saying, like, we just do something else. We got to wait till the guy gets here. Just do something else. Like, we're not going to figure it out. We've gotten rid of all of our options. He'll figure it out when he gets here.
I'm sitting there going, why isn't Kevin more concerned?
Well, I also had more information. I had already visited the venue, and I already worked with the thing, so I knew this is an anomaly that we are not going to be able to fix, most likely.
I think I asked you, I'm like, 0 to 10, how certain are you we're going to be good here? And you're like, 0.
Well, that is definitely the way I felt at one point. I don't know.
Once the guy was coming, what was it, 0 to 10?
9.
Nice.
I knew
I should have asked again.
I knew we'd figure something out. I just didn't know what it would be. And I didn't know if it would be what we thought it was going to be.
There's confidence. So let's...
Yeah.
What does it feel like to have confidence?
I think when you deal with uncertainty, you start to understand that if you're hyper-focused on uncertainty and not what you're certain you can do, it puts you into kind of handcuffs. And I think you were more in that spot than I was because it was like, I know what to do. It's to wait for the guy. I've already gotten rid of everything I know about this, and I know you did too. We just need to get rid of this and move on to something else that we're certain of. Let's set the camera up, or let me run the mic wires. Like, I know how to do that. I've done that 1,000 times. That, just letting go of the thing that you have no idea how to do because you know there's a better solution that hasn't arrived yet. But that's also dangerous too.
I remember when I asked Christina, shout out to you, Christina, I know she listens. I asked her in advance, I think it's a month prior, 2 months prior. We had never done a hybrid event before. We'd never done half in-person, half hybrid, half virtual. Half in-person, half hybrid. A hybrid event, half in-person, half virtual. And I asked her, I said, 0 to 10, how certain are you that you're fully competent to do this? She said 10. She said, I do this all the time. And I was like, whoa, you're like so and Christina's usually not that certain. She's very humble. So it's rare for her to say 10 out of 10, this is going to be a piece of cake. Because normally people who say that are actually being arrogant, myself included.
Yeah.
Oh, 10 out of 10, it's going to be fine. It's like, nah.
Yeah,
the marathon was a little harder than you thought.
Right.
So when Christina says it, it really means something because it's like, whoa, you really got this. Okay, cool. And I threw at least 5 variables. We were 25 minutes out, and we had to figure out. So here's what happened. Again, this is about uncertainty. We're talking a lot about Next Level Live, but we want you thinking about your own life and uncertainty and how uncertain life can be. We're 20 minutes out, and I'm setting up things virtually, and Kevin and I look at the camera, and it's got these lines down the screen. So the projector, I think it's an FPS thing, but okay, so if you're on YouTube right now, you can see me on my Sony ZV-1. It's a camera that I use. That's the camera we were using during the live event for the virtual Zoom room. Imagine I, right now, have a presentation behind me on a projector, and it's just lines going down. It just looks like crap. And so I said, Christina, hey, by the way. She's like, hey, I'm ready to rock. So we're dealing with the audio issue in the room, trying to get the audio to work over the speaker system, while I'm trying to get the video to work over virtual. And we've got Brandon in the room, but he's in the room physically, but he needs to be in the virtual room because he's an assistant coach for the virtual. And then I've got Jerry Ann. I need to set her up. And then on top of that, we've got a photo booth that we're putting up, and it was mayhem. It was great, but it was mayhem. And I threw something at Christina. I said, hey, can you please send me the Zoom link so I can get in so we can do a tech check? She's like, yeah, I'm ready for the tech check. I think this is probably a little more proactive, probably 45 minutes out. And I say, hey, Christina, by the way, we can't use the video for the presentation. We need you to somehow run the presentation, but also still show Kevin and I. And we need Kevin and I's mics on, but the presentation is going to be you on Canva behind the scenes. And so Christina handled the uncertainty unbelievably well. She was calm as a cucumber the whole time. So was Jerry Ann. I feel like I was the one who was struggling the most with anxiety. But I also, maybe from the outside, how did it seem from the outside? You can be honest. You don't have to say, oh, you were calm as a cucumber. I feel like I was.
No, I don't know. I don't know if you were visibly nervous, but I could tell energetically that you were just
more
overwhelmed.
than usual.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I felt like there was a lot more moving parts.
Yeah.
That needed to go right for everything to work. Mostly the virtual thing, but then the virtual in tandem with the in-person plus the speaker system plus we were doing a meditation where they needed to be able to hear the music and hear Amy at the same time, do the meditation. So
it was mayhem.
It was mayhem. And you want to talk about uncertainty in the pressure cooker, plus you're under a time limit. Doors open at 10, whether you like it or not. What are you going to do? Send out an email, hey, everyone wait in your car? It's not going to And then on top of that, too, and everyone who's in person, shout out to you, you'll know this. Everyone's coming in through all the doors.
Yeah.
There was 3 different entrances. Everyone came in from every different entrance, and we only had the registration table on one of the entrances, and
Oversight.
It was the least used entrance.
Yeah, that was an oversight for sure. Yeah. There was many oversights.
NLU listener, what is happening? I just wanted to jump in here and let you know if you want to get to the next level faster, we have a free virtual monthly meetup at the first Thursday of every month, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. You can connect with like-minded people and become a bigger part of this amazing global community. The link to register will be in the show notes.
We didn't really get to, we kind of did a dry run of the presentation, but that was the first time Alan and I have ever done that presentation in front of people in the way we did it. Now, I'm not saying that to be proudly. We just ran out of time based on all the other stuff that we had to do to get the event to land. But if that happened a few years ago, I would not have been able to sleep the night before. I was alarmingly calm when I went to bed that night, not knowing what we were going to talk about, really. We kind of did. I'll say this. Even if we didn't prep, quote unquote, we know the stories and we've taught the frameworks. So we probably knew better than you might expect. It's not like
we spent 9 hours creating that presentation.
Yeah. So it's not like it was the
2
first
weeks
time we'd ever seen it. But for me, I used to do 5 dry runs and I'd have my timing down. This was very much like, okay, we're going to see what happens. I trust our skills. We've done this so often. I know that even if we revert to our training, we have really good training. And if I forget what I'm going to say, Alan's there. If Alan forgets, I'm there. And here's the thing, and this has always helped me. Nobody in the audience knows what I'm going to say. So even if I forget what I'm going to say, nobody knows I've forgotten what I'm going to say because they didn't know what I was going to say in the first place. That has given me a lot of confidence. But I really, Alan, I think it's because I've faced so much uncertainty over the last however many years. It's exposure therapy. Really, that's all it is. It's just you expose yourself to something in very small microdoses, and eventually it gets to the place where something that would have broken you a couple of years ago now is like, oh yeah, no, I didn't even notice. I wasn't even really paying attention to the fact that I was, that this happened or that we did so well or whatever it is. So this is my next level nugget. The things that we are running from are usually the things that we need more of to overcome the thing that we're running from. Insecurity is a great thing, a great example. If you're insecure about something,
It's a great thing.
Insecurity is a great thing. I've been dealing with it for
Keep
years.
it. Hold on to it.
Hang on to it.
Hang on to it as long as you can.
Cherish it. Cherish it. If you are insecure about something, and you, I knew that was going to happen. Go on. Go on.
I don't want to spit out my water. Imagine that's the beginning of the teaser clip. Insecurity is a great thing.
Cherish
That
it.
actually would crush. That would do well.
Cherish it. Hold on to it.
Yeah, hold on to it as long as you can. I've done it for 30 years.
If you don't work through it, it stays there forever. The thing that we're afraid of, being insecure about something, is the thing that you need to work through in order to get on the other side of the thing that you're afraid of. And I think uncertainty is the same exact thing. I said this to Brandon. We were talking in the car. We went to the gym together on the day that he got there. Sicko. Got up at 3:00 in the morning, went for a run in Chicago, flew to Boston, and then went to the gym shortly thereafter landing.
And then stayed up doing logistics with us for
till midnight.
Till midnight.
Yeah, till at least midnight.
Let's go.
I said-
Shout out to Brandon. That's next level.
Yeah, it is. And then the next day, he got up and went for his run at 5:00 in the morning before the event. So
Really?
Yeah, he's a sicko. It was
I
raining
didn't
or
even
snowing.
tell anybody about it. I love it.
No, you would never know.
You'd never know.
Never
I
know.
didn't know.
Yeah.
I was in the same Airbnb. I didn't even know.
The kid.
Because I was snoozing.
He doesn't miss. We were talking about how he said, I heard the episode where you talked about how he said you mentioned a quote that you saw where the person wrote that they didn't really value the people who went viral or just hit it overnight. They really valued the people who grinded away for many, many years and proved that they're professionals. And he said that was a really powerful thing you guys were talking about. And I said, I really think about it from the perspective of like a pilot. Would you want to get onto a plane with somebody who won a sweepstakes to be a pilot? They got given a pilot's license. Like, congrats. You open the right box of Lucky Charms, you're a pilot now. Or would you want to be on the plane with a captain who has been through storms, who has been through emergency landings, who has been through all of that stuff? Second one, because that pilot has been through more uncertainty. And they're more comfortable in what to do to be certain in uncertain situations. So I think it's the same for all of us. If you're uncertain of something, the more you do it and the more you become familiar with uncertainty, I think the less it controls you. So all of that entire 3-minute monologue is my next level nugget.
Insecurity and uncertainty are very similar. They're not synonymous. I think insecurity can be targeted, specific. I'm insecure about my height. I'm insecure about XYZ. Whereas uncertainty, I think, is more broad. Kev, you used to rely on micro prep to have a performance go well.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that you've been able to lean on your macro prep more. So, for example, in 2023, we had this really cool, at the end of the year, I did this poster for the NLU team of all that we accomplished as a team. And 12 monthly meetups, however many coaching sessions, the number of podcast episodes. You've also guested on a ton of shows. As a matter of fact, after the speech, you said, I noticed that you've been going on other shows because you've been practicing your craft, practicing your story. It's the reps. The amount of reps that we put in 2023 exceeded any previous year. And in that moment, when you're so uncertain in the micro, you can rely on that macro training. You can rely on, you know what? Maybe I didn't practice my presentation as much. Maybe I didn't do 5 dry runs like I used to. That's going to be okay because I've been doing this consistently. So when game day comes, all the practice accumulates and all of a sudden you can make it rain even though you didn't maybe have enough time to prep in that last moment. And so that's the next level nugget that I would give, which is try to improve and make your practice, make your life, surround your life, design your life around practice runs so that when the big game comes, you can be calm, collected when things do go wrong. One last example is this. Emilia and I will go to the gym at a time when it's just packed. January is a good example of that. Gym's packed. We have this app that we create workouts, and then we have this whole thing. So it creates it AI, and then we tweak it, and we have very specific workouts we do. And when I'm exhausted, I say, let's just revert to training. Let's not do it. But when we're on point, we're doing it. And then sometimes when the gym is packed, we have a small gym we go to, and I'll say, we're not going to be able to do that workout. But I'm not freaking out because I know as soon as we get in there, I can adapt easily because I know all the different workouts. I know what lifts train what muscle groups very, very well. I know what does your traps. I know what does your rear delts and your front delts. I know what does your chest. I know and I can tell that she doesn't. She does now. She's coming up quite a bit, especially because of the app, because now she can kind of use the app and cross-reference. But I'm not freaking out when the gym's packed because I know that I'm going to be able to find even some small corner, some variation to do which workout. And so the more that you practice, the more that you train behind the scenes, the more you're going to be able to handle uncertainty on the big day. And that's just a fundamental truth. And if you make the practices as challenging as the games, quote unquote, the games will run really, really smoothly. That wasn't just one day of prep for a week. That was one day, the accumulated compound effect of 1,654 episodes and 52 book clubs a year and thousands and thousands and thousands of coaching sessions and Kevin guesting on other shows, 1,000 other shows, me, I think 350, something like that at this point. But it's not, you can't expect to be a strong speaker when you've only ever given one speech. But you can expect to be a strong speaker, even if you don't have a lot of prep time, when you've been doing it over and over and over again, monthly meetups, book club, all that kind of stuff. And so whatever that is for you, try to design your life a little more around the practice runs so that when the big day comes, you're not constantly freaking out when things go wrong.
100%. Hundo P, as I say. Hundo P. You ever heard of that?
Hundo %.
Hundo P. Have you ever heard of that?
I think you've said it in the past, man. I don't know.
I say a lot of things.
Hundo P, son.
Isn't it interesting that so much of what I said in the past I will not ever say in the future? Or I might say more in the future.
That's wild.
Isn't it also wild? This is a quote that I saw. We'll leave with this.
I said that sarcastically.
I know that. Yeah, no, I could tell, but that's why I wanted to deliver some real value. Isn't it truly wonderful that many of our best days haven't happened yet?
Oh, it's the best.
Pretty cool.
Bigger, better, brighter future.
Pretty cool.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, so I figured I'd leave with some value.
If you think the best is in the past, I think that you're
setting yourself
more
up.
Hopeless. Yeah, it's not good. It's not a
yeah.
great... I hope that every listener feels that the best is still yet to come. I hope that you, not from a false delusional place, but from a place of authentic, I'm building something bigger and better and brighter. And that's, I think, what the whole event was built around. That's what next level is about. Next level.
For sure.
It's about how do we get to the next level.
The level
Yeah,
after the level next.
Next
Yes.
level.
Speaking
level
of
next.
next level, we have a Facebook group called
Mm-hmm.
Next Level Nation that is all about this: life, love, health, wealth. Some heavy questions some days, other times it's light and fun questions to start your day off. So if you're looking for a group of positive individuals, if you're looking for accountability, if you're looking for necessity, if you're looking for a place where you can be authentically you, we'll have the link in the show notes below. We would love to have you. It is one of the most positive places I can imagine. So join if you are looking for that.
Huge shout out and thank you again to everyone who attended in person. Thank you, thank you, thank you. It was wonderful to meet you. Huge shout out and thank you for all of those who did attend virtually. Huge shout out to Brandon for the very first time he's ever done the assistant coach role. I've gotten great feedback from certain clients that were at the live event in Brandon's group, and they said he absolutely crushed it. So I just want to give a shout out to the whole NLU team that was involved with Next Level Live, everyone who attended in person, everyone who attended virtually, and an extra special shout out to Brandon because that was the first time, and we decided on that last minute kinda, and he was like, "Yep, let's do it," and he rocked it. So strong work, Brandon.
Night before, last minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was very last minute.
And he rocked it, man.
He did rock it. Uncertainty.
One of my
He's had
clients said he crushed it.
He's had a lot of uncertainty over the years of being at NLU, and he just says yes and deals with the uncertainty and then takes the lesson and then is able to say, well, last time I was uncertain and it went better than expected, and rinse and repeat.
Mm-hmm.
So shout out. Yes, I second that. Shout out to everybody who attended. We have the best team in the world. I'm so grateful. And it was just, again, two kids from a small town who started a podcast, and it's wild that we get to do some of the things we get to do. So very, very grateful and appreciative and privileged to have the amazing team we do and the amazing NLU family we do. Tomorrow, for episode number 1,600, I don't think I'm doing the right episodes. Yeah. Okay, good. I saved it. 1,655, the 4 relationship killers.
Mm-hmm.
Alan and Emilia did an event on this, and he said, hey, you think we should do it? And I said, if you think we should do it, we should do it. So we're going to do it. Because we talk about life, love, health, and wealth.
These 4 relationship killers are something that you definitely want to be aware of. And we have 4 antidotes that we came up with that help tremendously. And ideally, at the end of that episode, little teaser, you'll understand which one is your tendency and which one's your partner's tendency, which could, quite frankly, no hyperbole, no exaggeration, save your relationship.
It's a bold claim, Cotton. Let's see if that pans out. Works out.
Oh, my God.
As always, we love you. We appreciate you. Grateful for each and every one of you. And at NLU, we don't have fans. We have family. We will talk to you all tomorrow.
Talk to you soon. Next Level Nation.